Your containers are looking rubbish, that's because of the time of year. Here's how to fix it. Hi everyone, Alan from Newlands Nursery. This is today's 5-minute Friday. It's something you can do in the garden that's super easy to make a lot of difference. So you may recognise this container. This was planted up for a 5-minute Friday back in the summer, all to do with plants that can cope with shady or semi-shady conditions. So we've just let it do its thing. Haven't pruned it, haven't done anything, because that's often what happens at home because we run out of time. So we've just left it, and the coleus here, which is looking great, is going to die if we leave it outside. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this coleus out, which is the only tender plant in here, put that in a pot, and then we're going to finish off the container and brighten it up with some hardy plants so we can bring some new life to this container. So to get the coleus out of this container, what we want to do is ease it out. So we've got some roots down the bottom here. Obviously we've got other plants, and I'm just going to use my hands. You can use a trowel, but I find what you can do if you're using your hands is you can be a little bit more careful, a little bit more caring towards the roots. And there is no doubt when you're doing something like this, there is a risk that you lose the coleus. But bearing in mind, if you leave it outside, it's going to die anyway. You've got absolutely nothing to lose. So what I want to do is make sure I just don't stress the plants that are in here too much, basically. Reduce the amount we stress them. So I just gently ease it out, pushing down slowly, and out it comes. Simple as that. So in here we've got some heucheras, we've got some dicentra, there's an astilbe here, and I just want to clean them up slightly. Take the opportunity while you've got a bit more space to get rid of any dead leaves. Some of these, like this dicentra, are going to die back anyway, but as you can see from what we've done, you end up with a bit of a hole that was left by the coleus. Do that, get rid of the dead leaves, and it just allows for a little more airflow around these types of plants. So now what I want to do is plant up these plants so it looks fantastic again. Okay, so we've got the gaps on all 4 corners because it's a square pot, and we've got this nice empty gap in the centre here. So I'm going to concentrate on that first. I've got some fantastic dianthus. This is dynamic cherry, which I think works really, really well with the leaves of this heuchera, as well as working fantastically with the yellow of the trailing pansy. So I want to plant those, give the pot a good squeeze, and I'm just going to place that in the gap here, just like that in the centre. The dicentra, you can see at the back here, which is taking up a bit of space, is going to die back anyway and come back next year. So just like that, I'm going to plant the dianthus just like that, and then on all 4 corners I'm going to place the trailing pansies like that. And you get pansies in so many colours. Yellow is such a traditional colour. I still think it's one of the best colours that you can have in a trailing pansy, or any pansy, come to that. We nestle those in the corners, and I'm going to twist this round so you can see at the front there, leaves a gap just like that. Just placing it on the surface of the compost, and then I'm going to fill any gaps, nicely rooted in, any gaps with some fresh compost. In a few places I've had to slightly sort of dig the compost with my hands, but I always think it's a job that's worth doing by hand. Get your hands dirty, it's got to be good for you, I'm sure. And then we just top up any holes, and it'll vary when you're doing it where you find those gaps with some fresh compost, just to really finish it off. and make sure they get enough water for them and they're nicely planted. I'll do it to face you because that's how it looks, and when these grow over, this is going to trail over the side and look absolutely fantastic, and you can already see it's looking better already. Now that we've planted this fantastic container, all we need to do is take care of the coleus. Like I said, it's a tender plant, it will not take frosts, so I've got to bring it in. So don't go for too big a pot. If you go for a massive pot, you won't find anywhere in the house to put it. So I think this is a perfect size. So what I've done is I've added a little layer of compost because I want the plant to sit in the pot just like that. So a little layer at the bottom, and then I'm just going to top up around the outside and just planting it basically. They're surprisingly sturdy plants, coleus, and the foliage is obviously, as you can see, is absolutely fantastic. So I'm just going to pour that in there. Careful to secure it, and then you don't want to press down too much, but just a light firming so it actually stands up and doesn't fall over. Then give it a good water, and like I said, bring it in. Here in Essex, we're starting to see signs of potential frost, so that's the time to bring them in. But in the house, they'll stay like this and look fantastic all year round. See you soon.